Revelation chapter 8, verse 1. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the seven angels which stood before God, and to them were given seven trumpets. 3. And another angel came out and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given to him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints on the golden altar, which was before the throne. 4. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. 5. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire from the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunder and lightning and an earthquake. 6. And the seven angels which had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mixed with blood, and they were cast on the earth. And a third part of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. 8. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. And the third part of the sea became blood, and a third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and a third part of the ships were destroyed. 10. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as if it were a lamp, and it fell on a third part of the rivers and the fountains of waters. 11. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died because of the waters, because they were made bitter. 12. And the fourth angel sounded, and a third part of the sun was smitten, and a third part of the moon, and a third part of the stars, so that a third part of them were darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. 13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the middle of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpets of the three angels, which are yet to sound. Revelation 9, verse 1. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven to earth. And to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. 3. And there came out of the smoke locusts on the earth, and to them was given the power, and the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only the men which have not the seal of God on their foreheads. 5. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was a torment of a scorpion when he strikes a man. 6. And in those days men shall seek death, and shall not find it. And he shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. 7. And the shapes of the locusts were like to horses prepared for battle, and on their heads were, as it were, crowns like gold, and their faces were the faces of men. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were the teeth of lions, and their breastplates, as it were, breastplates of iron. And the sound of their wings was like the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And the tails like scorpions, and there were stings in their tails. And their power was to hurt men 5 months. 11. And they had a king over them, which was the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, or in the Greek tongue his name was Apollyon. 12. One woe was past, and behold, there come 2 more woes hereafter. 13. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the sixth angel, which had the 6th trumpet, Loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. Thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacketh and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were the heads of lions, and of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these 3 was their third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone, which issued from their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like serpents, and their heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not for the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils, and the idols of gold, and silver, and brass, and stone, and of wood, neither which can neither see, nor hear, nor walk, neither repented they of their murders, nor their sorceries, nor their fornications, nor of their thefts. Revelation 10. 1. And I saw a mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was on his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he sat at the right foot of the sea, and his left foot on the earth. 3. And he cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roars. And he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. 4. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, Seal up these things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. 5. And the angel which I saw stand on the sea and on the earth lifted up his hand to heaven. 6. And swore by him that lives forever and ever, who created heaven and the things therein and are, and the earth and the things that are therein and are, and the sea and the things that are which are therein, that there should be time no longer. 7. But in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, and as he has declared to his servants the prophets. 8. And the voice which I heard from heaven spoke to me again, saying, Go and take the little book which was open in the hand of the angel which stands on the sea and the earth. 9. And I went to the angel and said to him, Give me the little book. And he said to me, Take it and eat it up. And it shall make your belly bitter, but it shall be in your mouth sweet as honey. 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. And in my mouth it was sweet as honey, and as soon as I'd eaten it, my belly was bitter. 11. And he said to me, You must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings.